The trees, they are singing.
Welcome back into the studio for February's Year of the Book. So we're working in the Yearbook journal, and we pulled these prompts from the inspiration stick jar last month. And so we need to use resist, fabric, and stars. So one of the resists I did was this, where I used, these were oil pastels, and they kind of look like stars. I'm not a really big star person, but I thought if I wanted to add more, I'll collage with this, and if I wanted to add more, I'll use this solid oil marker and make some stars with, I guess. I don't know. I don't have any stencils or anything like that. And then also fabric, and I have some of this fabric which kind of goes with this journal anyways, and all these strands left over from the making of the journal. I don't know that I'll use this fabric, but it was really handy when I was pulling out my journal. So those are all options. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get started. I don't usually go in order, but I think I'm going to go in order just because I feel like it. And go with this page. I'm going to go ahead and use some of this as collage fodder, but I'm also, my bits basket is so full, so I thought I would start off with pulling some pieces out of here that kind of went with what was happening already, or I don't know, that drew me into them. It's kind of interesting. So that's what I am going to do right now, is just really start to pull some items that I can use to collage with in the background and go from there. Thanks for joining me. These are pieces of blueprint, vintage blueprint. I have vintage blueprints in my shop. I'll list them below, but those are a lot of fun.
Of a song, and the wind is gently ringing, the bell that brings the morning, the welcome of the dawn. The voice of the robin, the call of the dove, the red leaves are falling, the barn owl is calling, the welcome of the dawn. The dogs will be howling in the early morning light. All are happy to be out in the ending of the night, the welcome of the dawn. The nights are turning colder, soon the falling of the frost. Soon the summer will be over. You feel the change is closer at the welcome of the dawn. The trees, they are singing to the tune of a song, and the wind is gently ringing, the bell that brings the morning, the welcome of the dawn.
One thing I have noticed with this blueprint, or any really old vintage paper is that it usually soaks up a lot of matte medium or fluid matte medium. But with the blueprints, because there's this coating, it's like a big, huge mimeograph, these old ones that are actually blue, it actually resists it a little bit. So I find myself also having to use a lot of the gel medium or fluid matte medium with them as well as the vintage items, because it takes more to get it to stick. You kind of have to, sometimes you have to finagle with those pieces, but I love those old vintage blueprints. They're awesome to work with.
To the tune of a song, and the wind is gently ringing the bell that brings the morning, the welcome of the dawn. The voice of the robin, the call of the dove, the red leaves are falling, the barn owl is calling, the welcome of the dawn. The dogs will be howling in the early morning light. All are happy to be out in the ending of the night, the welcome of the dawn. The nights are turning colder, soon the falling of the frost. Soon the summer will be over. You feel the change is closer at the welcome of the dawn.
So I've kind of applied some splotches on my page of gesso, and I'm coming in with a scratchy brush that I've really wet down. So I'm just really a loose gesso coming in with that brush just to push some of the edges back and kind of make it all kind of a cohesive whole. And I'm going to do that throughout the entire layout. And when I say scratchy brush, this is a boar bristle brush, and so it's definitely will leave a lot of texture, plus that it's an old brush, so it's just got really uneven, it's an uneven brush head on it, so it makes it for a lot of fun. And sometimes you can see a little bit of that showing through, that additional texture created from it.
It's calling, welcome of the dawn. The trees, they are singing to the tune of a song, and the wind is gently ringing the bell that brings the morning, the welcome of the dawn.
Now I've pulled out some texture paste, which I am going to get mixed up with some acrylic paint. But not just any acrylic paint. This is actually the Paper Artsy's Fresco paint in Banana. So I'm getting that good and mixed up, and then I'm going to get it applied to the page. And instead of using my regular palette knife, I'm going to use this silicone makeup thing. I'm not even sure what it is. I got it at the dollar store. It's got an unusual shaped head to it, but I thought it would be fun to squish some of that texture paste down onto the page using it, get something that was a little less uniform, and have fun with it.
The nights are turning colder.
Now you're going to see me flipping the center page back and forth. What I'm trying to do is I'm looking at the yellow areas to see if it flows when you flip the page. So as I'm putting that down, you'll notice I'm flipping it back and forth, and that's what I'm doing there. And now I'm coming in with some of that paper artsy fresco paint again, but this time in the Blue Bayou. And I'm actually going to adhere it or apply it to the surface with a makeup brush. I not have used this. It's been sitting in with my tools, and I thought this was a good opportunity to do that, especially with this fresco paint. It's very matte, and I was hoping to get a lot of nice additional scratches from that, as well as like I did when I was using the gesso.
Like the dust brings the night, the summer brings the fall. It won't be long till harvest comes. Morning breaks, welcome of the dawn. Daylight is calling, welcome of the dawn. The trees, they are singing to the tune of a song, and the wind is gently ringing the bell that brings the morning, the welcome of the dawn. The voice of the robin, the call of the dove, the red leaves are falling, the barn owl is calling, the welcome of the dawn. The dogs will be howling in the early morning light.
And although I've already come in with the resist, because I used that paper in the background, the music paper that had the resist technique on it, I am gonna come in anyhow with the solid oil marker in white and create some stars. I'm not big on stars, but I do like sort of an asterisk type star, and I'm going to create those using this solid oil marker, which is a resist technique. When you're using that solid oil marker, you do need to apply heat to it so that it will cure. Otherwise, it'll have to sit here for 24 hours to cure. So I'm coming in with some airbrush medium that's been mixed with some Payne's Gray acrylic paint in a fine liner bottle, and I'm added some water to the areas of where those asterisk stars are, and I'm going to drip some of that acrylic paint into those areas, spritz it a little bit more with water, get it to really wick out to get those to pop, utilizing the resist.
The warm days are over, they are not forever gone. Like the dust brings the night, the summer brings the fall. It won't be long till harvest comes. Morning breaks, welcome of the dawn. Daylight is calling, welcome of the dawn. The trees, they are singing to the tune of a song, and the wind is gently ringing the bell that brings the morning, the welcome of the dawn. The voice of the robin, the call of the dove, the red leaves are falling, the barn owl is calling, the welcome of the dawn.
All right, so I've taken care of stars and resist, and now I need to add a focal point and some fabric because that's the last of the prompts for this month to get had. So I am starting to work on that focal point, and I'm using some fabric that I used on the front cover.
Ending of the night, welcome of the dawn. The nights are turning colder.
So this focal is actually a photograph on some semi-matte kind of satin actually photo paper that I've fussy cutted out. It's a dog statue, and I'm not familiar with the statue itself, but I decided to use that as a part of the focal, and I'm going to layer it up with this fabric and some other pieces.
And the wind is gently ringing, the bell that brings the morning, welcome of the dawn. Though the warm days are over, they are not forever gone. Like the dust brings the night, the summer brings the fall. It won't be long till harvest comes. Morning breaks, welcome of the dawn. Daylight is calling, welcome of the dawn. The trees, they are singing to the tune of a song, and the wind is gently ringing, the bell that brings the morning, welcome of the dawn. The voice of the robin, the call of the dove, the red leaves are falling, the barn owl is calling, the welcome of the dawn. The dogs will be howling in the early morning light. All are happy to be out in the ending of the night, welcome of the dawn.
And I'm going to finish this layout out with using the Stabilo All in the graphite pencil and just making some marks in the background.
Soon the summer will be over, you feel the change is closer at the welcome of the dawn.
All right, so finished. We got our fabric. We've got our resist. And this is a resist, but it's also a star. My kind of star. So there we go. February in the books. So it's time to pull prompts for March. So here we go. Red. Ooh, I feel a little pyro red coming on. Letters. Mosaic. Oh, crap. All right, mosaic. We can do that. That's a whole month away. I can do that in a month. I love mosaic. I don't necessarily, mosaic doesn't mean it has to be square. But we'll get there. We'll get to that point eventually. So those are our prompts for March. Thank you for hanging out with me and watching as we create this layout with this little flip in the middle.
The voice of the robin, the call of the dove, the red leaves are falling, the barn owl is calling, the welcome of the dawn. The dogs will be howling in the early morning light. All are happy to be out in the ending of the night, the welcome of the dawn. The nights are turning colder,